Everybody, all right, I'm making this video. It's something I've been trying to make for the women for a while, and I've been meaning to make it for a while. I guess this is the second of my for the women only videos, and it's about the same subject. That's what makes it about, for women only. Guys, you don't have to worry about this. So I don't know if I shared this on my Facebook or anything, but probably about 4 months, maybe going on 5 months ago, I started using a menstrual cup, and there's tons of them out there. There's the Diva cup, the Wonder cup. There's tons of them out there. So do your own research. This is just what I found that works for me. So do your own research. So I found this on Amazon, and I honestly can't remember the name. I will try and put the link in the description. And I know I always say that, and sometimes I forget. So go back in a day or two. If I have forgotten, I will end up putting it in there. But I found this one. And I'm cleaning it right now. That's why I decided to go ahead and film, because I'm in the middle of cleaning. Because I'm preparing. I clean it after my cycle, but then I clean it again before my cycle is due again, because, dust and stuff. I just want to make sure it's fresh. So right now I've got it in some vinegar and water, cleaning it out, and then I will do a 5 minutes, let it sit in the container of boiling water for 5 minutes. So I've got the water on the kettle on the stove boiling water now. So this cup I liked after doing some research. Someone shared this in a female only group that I'm in. And she had this one because everyone always talked about the big ones, the Diva cup and whatever the other top brand one were. There's like two major ones, but the person who shared this one, I went online into their Amazon website and found it. And I've enjoyed using this one because this one, unlike the others, it has a little stopper. There's a little bead in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a white bead right there. And that is neat because when you squeeze here on the bottom, the bead pops up into this channel, which then lets the liquid flow and go out. It flows and goes out. And then you squeeze this again, and it goes back into this area, and the liquid stops. So let me open this up. And so this is just, so obviously this is sitting in your body, in the vagina. And the only thing that really is sticking out is the very tip. At least for me when I'm doing it. So this is all inside your body, and only the very tip is sticking out. So it's very easy if you bear down as if you're trying to have a bowel movement, but not that hard. If you bear down, this comes down just a little more, and it gives you a little more room to squeeze, and then the liquid would come out, and then you pinch again, bear down again, pinch, and then it goes back into stopper mode. So I'm going to put some of the vinegar water in there. Now let's hope I do this without spilling. I'm not going to put a whole lot. So there's liquid in there now. Let me dump some more out. So if this was in your body, okay, it's got the liquid in there. I could have put red food coloring, but that's gross. So this is in your body. You bear down a little. It comes out. You push the bottom. The liquid flows out into the toilet. Once you think all the liquid is out, you press again. It goes into the channel. And then I usually take some toilet paper and, of course you wipe yourself and make sure it's all clean. And you're good as golden. So I've enjoyed this cup because of that. Not saying that anything's wrong with the other cups. I just enjoy being able to take the stopper and do that instead of having to take the whole cup out and dump it every time. Now, I do take the whole cup out and dump it once a day and rinse it out real good with hot soapy water. So usually once a day before bed, I will take the entire cup out. I will bear down and pull the whole cup out, dump the contents in the toilet, and then clean with hot soapy water in the sink. And I say I do that once a day, and the reason why is because usually I'm home, obviously, and so you have more privacy. If you're in a public bathroom that doesn't have a private one stall bathroom with its own sink, you don't want to be having to do that. This is another reason why I like this. I can empty it without having to worry about if I'm in one of those women's rooms that have, 3 or 4 stalls in it and having to go rinse it. The other cups, if you want to empty them, you have to take the whole cup out. And once you take the whole cup out, you dump the contents in the toilet. And if you're able to get to a sink privately, then rinse it out. If you're not, they suggest, you take a toilet paper and clean it out, and that's fine. But I just really prefer the stopper method. It just, to me, is so much nicer. I usually use, let me show you. I will usually grab a little piece of toilet paper and open the stopper, because when you open the stopper, you're going to get immediate liquid flow. This way, my fingers stay clean, and I just toss the little piece of tissue into the toilet. And then I usually get another piece of tissue and clean off the tip real good before I use my fingers to, squeeze it. So when I go into the bathroom, I wash my hands first. I do that first. So because I know I'm going to be touching something that's in a very sensitive area on my body, and I don't want to be, I don't want to get an infection or anything. So I always wash my hands first when I go into the restroom. And if at all possible, I use paper towel to, open the restroom door and lock the lock, if that's possible. So, but I usually always try and keep clean hands, or I take a little thing of, not this big one, but I'll take some hand sanitizer in to the stall with me. I have that little teeny small purse size one. I'll take that in with me if it's like, and if I can wash my hands, great. If I can't, then I know I have that in my purse. So anyway, I just really like this one. I just like not having to take the entire cup out. I just feel like just squeezing this. And the main thing, when I've shared this with other people, the main question I get is, what about clots? Because a lot of us do clot when we bleed, and I do that. I do have clots. I have found that they pass just fine with the ball there. I've also found that I tend to clot less, and so they pass, which is another reason why once a day to empty it out, because if you do have any clotting, sitting, you can once a day, like I said, take it out and clean it. Now, I do sleep with this in, and I normally do not wear an overnight pad or anything. I do, and I don't have any here in the bathroom with me, but I do have, on Etsy, there are tons of people that make handmade, reusable sanitary napkins. So I do have 3 of those, and they're more in the panty liner size. I've only had an accident once with this overnight, and it was because I was sick while I had my cycle, and I didn't really dump it before bed like I normally do. So it did, as I was sleeping, I did get a little bit of leakage. So, and it wasn't a big accident. So, that's to be expected. But once it's emptied, I mean, I can go the whole 8 hours that I normally go, sometimes 10 if it's a weekend and I sleep in. So, it works. It's perfectly fine. I think you have to replace these every 2 years or so. It is medical grade silicone. So it is definitely, and it comes with an extra bead. And I must admit that one time I did push down on this to put it back into the little area. I did push down one time too far, and that bead shot out and went flying. I was able to find it, and I just boiled it, cleaned it with soap and water, boiled it by itself in water for like 10-20 minutes, took it out and let it cool, and then put it back in. So, yeah. The bead will shoot out, but I guess that's why they give you an extra one. I guess they've had that happen, or they just in case. But yeah, so the bead does come out. I will pop the bead all the way out. It's not, you could probably even go to a craft store and find a bead this size, but it's not not a huge bead. And as you can see, it keeps very clean. It's still white. And like I said, I've used this 4 or 5 months. The silicone is more yellowy than the bead. But the bead is still white. And again, I just really enjoy using the cup. And I never would have thought that I would, put this back in the vinegar. I never would have thought that I would use a menstrual cup. I had never heard of them until maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And it took me lots of months of research to decide if I was even going to use one. But being a van dweller helped spur it on, because when you're on your cycle, and you remember I started van dwelling in the summer, and of course with